Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel, or welcome to our channel if you're new. For today's video, we'll be showing you how to get this fawn slash reindeer slash doe look. So this look is really simple for Halloween, especially a last minute Halloween costume. Basically all we did was use some eyeliner, some eyeshadows and contour, and just put a really simple Halloween makeup look together for you. We also made some custom ears to go along with the look, and I also curled my hair ahead of time just to make this look even more innocent and doe-like, and that's the look that we're going for today. So if you'd like to see how to get this look, then please keep on watching. Alright, so I already primed my face, put on foundation. I also put on my loose powder, which is not really loose powder, it's a pressed powder. I use this one more than I use loose powder because I find that it does a better job of keeping everything in place. So I already did all that, so now we're going to move on to brows. Now for brows, I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Granite. Now just as I normally do, I'm just going to do my brows, but what I'm going to do with the brow is that when you're doing the brow, you want to make it a little more bushier because we're trying to get that effect of a deer. Next, I'm taking my trusty Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzer, and I'm just going to apply this onto my face as I normally do. See, now normally I would stop right here. This is usually where I end my contour and I don't really add on that much more. But what you're going to do this time around is that you're going to make sure that you add a lot of it on. So you're going to add enough on until it really does look like part of your skin, but except a darker, probably a harsher part of your skin. And this is just going to try to mimic the color of a deer. Usually deers have a bright face, but they have dark features around them, and they kind of have like a natural contour, which is pretty cool. So we're just going to try to mimic that. Alright, so as you can see, like I said earlier, it doesn't look very dark, but we're getting there. So I'm going to take this Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Now, as you guys may know, this is one of my favorite palettes. And I'm going to take the darkest brown in the shade right here, and that shade is Charmed, I'm Sure. So I'm going to take a small amount of that and add that straight onto my cheekbones, just to start off lightly. So right here, we're just going to carefully add that in. And as you can see already, it's starting to add that slight shadow, and that's what you want. So you want to add a little, you want to keep adding little by little until you get the color that you are happy with. So I'm going in with a lot more now, and I'm just going to keep adding it onto my face just until it gets really dark. And the reason why I want my cheeks to be dark, because I'm going to put those little white dots all over. You know, the little dots that deers normally have. I'm going to try to put those on here, and in order for them to show up nicely, you want those areas to be really dark with the brown. So now that we probably have enough darkness here, as you can see, it looks really muddy right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my beauty blender, and I'm going to take some of my Fit Me powder once again. I'm just going to line that right underneath my contour. And the reason I'm doing this is just to sharpen it up a little bit, because right now it's a little bit too much. So we're just going to sharpen up that edge. We just want this edge to be sharpened up. We don't want too much of it to be too sharp. You can go over with your beauty blender just to blend away some of the color and get that kind of seamless look. And we're just going to keep doing that until you're happy with it. So you're just going to keep adding your loose powder or pressed powder, whatever you're using, and you're just going to cover that up because we don't want it to look too muddy. And especially this end, I kind of went a little heavy-handed on it. So we're just going to take that beauty blender and just swipe it. And you don't want to swipe too hard because you don't want to pull off whatever is already there. You're just trying to add on top, just to take away some of that excess. Now I'm taking the Too Faced White Peach palette, and I'm taking the creamish shade in the palette, and that shade would be Peach Cream, of course. And now I'm applying this all over my lid. Now the reason I'm doing this is just to kind of set the concealer and powder that I had on my eyes already, and this is just going to help all of it sit nicely on the lid. You're gonna see, because I'm using a lot of darker and more vibrant colors, it needs kind of a whitish base just so that when you're putting it on, it doesn't come off too light and the color really brings itself out. So I'm going back into the palette and I'm taking the shade Fuzzy. And Fuzzy is just going to act as a transition shade on my crease. And the reason I'm using this rather than a darker color, because naturally with my skin tone, a darker color would work really much more better in the crease. The reason I'm not doing that right now is because I don't want a heavy crease. I really want to first put down those darker shades before I do so. So I'm just going to add this as just a slight color in the crease, and then I'm probably going to go back in with either my bronzer or a brown color of eyeshadow and just add that straight onto the crease as well. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with this shade right here. This is a MAC Velux Pearl eyeshadow in the shade Ruddy. And this shade will work really well with the antlers that I'm going to put on. I made some custom antlers and they do have this kind of reddish shade of flower on them. So I'm just going to take this shade and I'm very sparingly going to add this to my lid. Now you want to be really careful with this because like any dark shade, you don't want to go in with a heavy hand because you don't know how pigmented it's going to come out on your lid. You may know ahead of time if you've used it before how pigmented it's going to be, but you just want to be careful when you're putting it straight onto your lid because sometimes these are really hard to come off, especially a red like this. So I'm just adding that straight onto my lid, but I'm not going to the outer part of my lid because I have a plan for that, so I'm not going to put that on my outer lid. So I'm just taking some of my MAC Fix Plus and I'm just going to spritz my brush like that. And I'm just going to take a little bit more and then very gently add that straight to my lid. And it may not show up on camera as any different. It might even look exactly the same on camera. That's just how my camera is. But in person, this is a lot more vibrant once you add that Fix Plus. So anytime you have a shadow like that, just add some Fix Plus or even some water if you don't have Fix Plus, because I know it's ridiculously expensive. Use some water and just dab your brush into it and then wait for it to be a little damp, just like a beauty blender, and then dab it straight into your eyeshadow. That usually helps the eyeshadow bring out more pigment, and it's a lot easier of an option than going out and buying a MAC Prep and Prime. Even though I love the MAC Prep and Prime, sometimes it's a lot easier to just use water. So what I'm going to do now is I'm taking this shade from MAC as well. I'm taking the shade Amber Lights. It's a frost finish eyeshadow from MAC, and I'm just going to take this first and I'm going to add that straight into my tear duct area. And the reason I'm doing this is just to bring some more dimension to this look. And I am going to go over this with eyeliner because, as you all know, deers usually have very strong eye lines, and the only way I can mimic that is through eyeliner. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just adding this straight here into my tear duct area, and this is just going to give it some dimension, as I said earlier, before we go in and add in that eyeliner. So So I'm just going to go back into the same color Ruddy, and I'm just going to add a little more because I'm still not happy with the color. So I'm just going to add a little more onto the lid. And I find it to look a little bit more pinkish than I want it to, but it still works for the look that I'm going for. So I'm just going to dab that very lightly onto the area that I want to darken up. And I'm kind of using somewhat of a patting motion for this, just so that it can add a little more color. Okay, so now I'm going to go back into my Too Faced Sweet Peach palette, and I'm going in with the shade Puree and Summer Yum. What I'm doing with these two shades is that I'm going to mix the two shades just so that I can kind of add this into the crease area without it looking too apart from each other, if you get what I mean. So they'll look a lot more merged together and blended together if I use these two mixed together. Alright, so now I'm going to take a crease brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of black onto my face. Now you don't want to overdo the black because black can get out of hand really quickly. So I'm just taking the black and I'm just stippling it right there where my crease is. And I'm doing this because I wanted some more darkness in the crease area. Like I mentioned earlier, I used a very light shade in the crease to begin with because I didn't know how dark I would want the crease until after I added all these shadows on. So you're just going to run that into the crease. So I'm going in with my Kat Von D liner in the shade Trooper, and this is my trusty eyeliner, as you guys probably have guessed from watching my other makeup videos. And this is just a really good liner to work with, especially with these types of Halloween looks and when you're doing really intricate eyeliner. So I'm just going to, I'm looking at a reference picture right now of what a deer looks like, and I'm just going to start off with the nose because to me that's the easiest part. So that's the nose, and at first I kind of think it looks like a lion's nose, which is really weird, but that's what it looks like right now. And I'm gonna take that same crease brush, this one right here, and I'm gonna go into a black eyeshadow. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to go and put on any face paint or anything like that, so I'm just taking a black eyeshadow, and you're going to completely cover your nose. So the Cupid's bow that I made was a little bit off at first. So what I did was I took the eyeshadow and I used it to bring that down and to make it look a little more even. I'm gonna then go in, and something I forgot to do, something I didn't do was my contour for my nose. So I'm just taking a very thin brush. I have this thin Artiste brush, and I'm just going to go into my nose area. And I had already concealed my nose off camera before I started, so I concealed the middle of my nose just so that adding this on would be a lot easier, because we don't want your nose to look at all uneven, because the whole idea here is to look like a deer, and deer's features are very sharp and clean. And you want to get that as clean as you possibly can. Now with the eyes, I want to go really have that really doe-eyed effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I completely outline my eye, as well as drawing some artificial features to make it look more like a deer. So I'm just going to start off on the outer edge as I normally do. And you're just going to take this straight in. And my eyeliner is running a little low, so I'm just going to make this a very, very sharp, long line. And I'm not going to make it perfect, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back in with a different eyeliner, a pencil eyeliner, and this will just help darken up the liner that I've already created. So now you're taking the eyeliner straight into your tear duct. Now I've done this in other tutorials for Halloween as well. And again, this is very hard to do. Even I have some trouble with it sometimes. So you're going to just take your time when you're doing this part. It's very important to take your time with this. So then I'm going in with the Urban Decay All-Nighter. So I'm just adding this eyeliner onto all the areas that needed some darkening up. My Kat Von D liner was running out, so this is pretty much the only thing that was going to make it a lot darker. And I just need to get those areas. And like I said earlier, it's not going to look perfect. You're going to have to work with it up until you figure out how you want your eye to look and whenever you're happy with it. And then I'm going to go back in with the black from the White Peach palette. And I'm just going to run this on the waterline. Now I'm taking the Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced and I'm taking the shade White Peach, and this is just a stark white, and I'm using this as the spots on a deer. So I'm just applying this on my forehead and on my cheeks with a small thin brush and just making circular motions to make a circular shape. I'm then taking my Urban Decay eyeliner and just lining my upper lip. And then I'm going to go in with the Sephora Collection lipstick in the shade Woof Woof, and I'm applying this also on my upper lip. For my lower lip, I'm taking the Marc Jacobs lipstick in the shade Soft Spoken, and I'm putting that on my lower lip. And then I'm going to take my ABH Glow Kit and the shade Bronzed, and I'm putting that on the high points of my cheeks, just for a little bit of highlight. I'm then taking my Too Faced Hangover RX face finishing primer, and I'm just finishing off my face. So now for this look, you can end here. You can put on some false lashes and call it a day. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take my eyelash curler and I'm just going to curl my lashes and put on mascara. With this look, putting on some lashes will really bring out the vibrance in the eyes. But for the sake of this video and the fact that I don't wear lashes, as I mentioned before, I'm just going to curl my lashes and put on some mascara. And for lashes, I'm going to be using the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. And I'm just going to apply this on my upper and lower lashes. Okay, so now that my face is completed, so ahead of time I curled my hair. So all I'm going to do now is that I'm going to just break out the curls in my hair, and I'm just going to add my decorative deer ears on top. So all I'm doing right now is just breaking out the curls that I have in my hair. And the reason why I didn't break them out earlier before I started doing my makeup was because naturally my hair does not stay curly. My hair is naturally very wavy, but it never stays in curls. So what I do to help my hair stay in curls is to, when you're finished curling them with the curling iron, you're not gonna right away go and break out all the curls. You're gonna let the curls sit and cool down, kind of like if you're actually using an actual like hot rollers. You want to let them sit, and then you're going to go in and pull them out like I'm doing here. So okay, so that's the hair. And in my spare time I did make a set of ears, So these are the ears that I made. I used some of this kind of bristly material I found at the dollar store. I took some flowers, added them into the middle, and I made 2 cute little deer ears on the side. And I just used it on an old headband. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my ears on, and you can make your own ears as you like. And this is the final look. As you can see, this look really does go very well with curly hair. You can do it with straight hair as well, or even your hair tied up into buns. It also looks really, really cute. You can turn this, instead of a deer, into a fawn, and you could have the buns and the nice flower crown and things like that. What we did was that I made a custom made pair of antlers. So what I did was I found some material at the dollar store and I just cut them out into shapes of antlers. I got some dollar store flowers and I just stuck all of this on with a glue gun. I also made the ears with the same material by pinching the ends and just sticking them right on, and they look like doe ears. So it's a really simple thing to make. I would rather make these rather than going out to buy them, because I saw a pair of them and they're like $20, and this probably costs less than $5 to make. So if you'd like to see how to make a pair of deer ears or Mickey Mouse ears, anything like that, just let us know in the comments below. We will try to put that DIY out for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also comment down below and let us know what you thought of this video, what you'd like to see in the future in terms of Halloween videos or even makeup videos, or any type of DIY cooking, anything that you guys want, just list in the comments below. Also, everything that I did mention in this video will be in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos every single day for this month. And don't forget to turn on post notifications to be notified whenever we upload. I hope you guys have a fantastic week, and thanks for watching. Bye!